Hi, I'm Fiona McBride, and today we have the pleasure of welcoming Karen Evans, who is Head of AAT for the Middle East. Karen, you're very welcome.
Thanks for having me, Fiona.
So Karen, very welcome to our lovely offices. You've been here before, so you're not a stranger.
No, thank you for having me.
Kaplan Konversations Middle East. AAT, tell me about AAT in the region.
Okay, so as you know, Fiona, AAT, the Association of Accounting Technicians, we are the UK and hopefully the world's leading professional body for accounting technicians in the region. So we've been here in the Middle East for around 20 years, dipping our toe.
Really?
Yeah. Dipping our toe. Predominantly we were in Oman in the 90s, early noughties, and Bahrain as well. But in the last few years we've actually seen an increase in interest in our qualifications out here. So for the last 18 months since AAT brought me on, based here out in Dubai, we've been trying to do a lot more with our qualifications, increasing the brand, letting people know more about AAT, who we are, what we do, and seeing if we can give that alternative when it comes to accounting qualifications, because we are on the vocational side of qualifications.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm obviously a big champion of vocational learning of all sorts, and I remember 100 years ago when I was 18 looking at AAT as a potential career route to start, and then move on into chartered status with one of the other bodies. And for just personal reasons and whatever, I decided to do the degree route and then do the SCCA. But it has surprised me here that AAT is not a lot more popular than I would have thought it would be, because the value of the qualification in the UK is enormous, and it's really popular in the UK. So out here in the Middle East, I would have thought it would have had the same level of attraction.
Yeah, we thought that too, but I guess one of the things that has hindered us in the past is the fact that it is a very degree-led market, especially on the expat side. To come out here and get a job in accountancy as an expat, it's expected for you to have a degree to then secure your visa and secure the sponsorship.
Yeah, of course.
However, there has been a bit of a focus and a bit of a change, thankfully, through the NQA, the National Qualifications Authority here, similar in Bahrain, at seeing the value in a vocational qualification as opposed to a degree, because many people, when they leave school, not everybody wants to go to university.
No.
But they do want to do something. Many think about accountancy and finance as a career, and AAT offers them that alternative route, which is something that we really want to push here. Back in the UK, there has been a big onus on apprenticeships and internships, and that's something that was never really looked at here, especially on the nationalisation side of things. But now, obviously, nationalisation is a big hot topic across the GCC, across the region. So we want to show people out here that AAT is a good alternative for those who might not necessarily want to go to university, but still want a career in accountancy and finance, and look at it as an alternative pathway. Our qualifications, we have really good partnerships with some of the bigger chartered bodies, ACCA, CIMA, IMA. So there is a route into to chartered accountancy. So yeah, we have a lot of plans out here for AAT. Good. We need people to stand up and listen and take notice of what we want to do with our qualification.
I think you're right, and I think that, the value of the qualification can't be under-marketed or underestimated. And obviously Kaplan are probably the biggest training provider for AAT in the UK. Yeah. Certainly from an apprenticeship perspective, Kaplan are the champions of accountancy apprenticeships. And I agree with you that here, the apprenticeship brand is growing, and its value is growing, and it would be fantastic to see the Middle East region, Saudi, Oman, Bahrain, the UAE, getting to the same acceptance and appreciation of the value of the apprenticeship qualifications that the UK and Australia and Germany and Canada all have. They've integrated it really solidly into maybe 14-year-old and up, those individuals in that age group are really well aware of apprenticeships, and they're really well aware of different routes to market, and different skill sets that can absolutely be developed and create value in the workforce. But I think you're right, with the nationalisation programmes, AAT is fantastically placed to be able to give people an awareness of finance. They might not necessarily want to be an accountant, but there is nothing like being able to read a P&L or a balance sheet and surprise your finance director or your manager in that you understand the numbers. And certainly, you know, with the modular structure within AAT, you know, that is very, very possible. So it's definitely a qualification that Kaplan love. It's definitely a qualification that we champion, and I definitely believe that it has a really firm and relevant place in this market. I would just like to see it a little bit more popular. Yeah,
me too. And I guess that's up to me at the end of the day.
And me.
You know,
we're not doing our job.
No, we need to let people know what the value is and what it is. I mean, it is a degree-led market, and that's fine. We understand that. But people also need to understand the difference between an academic qualification and a vocational qualification, and what the differences are. I mean, AAT is also a route into a university degree.
Absolutely.
You know, we have a lot of exemptions back in the UK where if you've completed our level 4 qualification, you get automatically into second year at university. So we want to see that value as well here, and let people know that by doing one of our qualification, the world's your oyster. It's not a case of, you know, becoming a chartered accountant or going to university. We even have there's a lot of popularity in the UK around our qualification with small and medium enterprises, business owners, like you mentioned earlier, the fact that people might not want a job in accountancy, but they need to understand the numbers. They need to know what the profits are, growth analysis, be able to understand financial statements. So I think out here as well, there's that entrepreneurship mindset,
which AAT is absolutely fantastically placed to harness. You know, so if you'd done your leaving qualifications at whatever institute you're at, so it could be the IB or it could be, you know, the Indian qualifications or your A levels. How long would it take you to do the level 4 qualification with AAT?
Yeah, so we place the level 4, so anything between 9 to 18 months. So it very much depends on how much time you are actually spending on studying and your method of study, whether that be classroom based, blended, online learning. So the good thing is with AAT, people can study at their own pace. They can qualify AAT level 4 within 9 months if you know they have a good understanding. If they really go, it's not a long qualification. And that's another thing as well. You know, when people do chartership qualifications, these take a long time. With our qualification, because we have exemptions to a lot of the chartered bodies, you can typically get charter qualified in a little bit quicker. So we know many of our level 4 completers who then go on to do the likes of ACCA or CIMA or something else. They can qualify and get that qualification within 2 years as opposed to 3 or 4 years, and that makes a massive difference.
And funnily, we have some students here who have done AAT in the UK and then have come here to do their SCCA, and it's great to see, because that is, again, a tried and tested route in the UK. So it really should be something that is appreciated here. You also have qualifications that can be, you know, wrapped up and embedded into other programs. So shorter qualifications that give awareness of the finance, but maybe don't give you the same level, the same status as your level 4, which is like foundation degree level. What about those?
So we have, obviously in the UK we're on the off-call framework. So our levels go between level 1 to level 4. So we do have some level 1 qualifications, which we typically target to, in the UK, as you mentioned, the kind of 16-year-old. So we've got a level 1 business skills qualification, which me personally love this qualification. I think every 16, 17-year-old should do this qualification because it gets them thinking about the world of work.
Yeah.
You know, what it's like to go out there into the big wild world after school and work in a professional environment.
Yeah.
So it also talks and teaches about what it takes to get there. So there is modules on preparation of your CV, presentation skills, you know, and making yourself sellable. But then also the soft skills that you need when you go out into the world of work. So interpersonal skills. Of course, we're a finance and accountancy, so there is some module work on learning about numbers and how finance works and things like that.
And not to be afraid of those things, because I think a lot of people, and I hear it with my children's friendship groups, you know, so, oh, I'm not good with numbers. It's like, everybody's good with numbers. You know, you're good in ways that you don't even know that you're good with numbers, and this sort of takes them to be less afraid of numbers, and also gives them a bit of confidence so that they feel, oh, actually it's not that hard. You know, balancing your pocket money, you know, what you get you spend, you know, what you get you save and you spend, you know, and really, you know, in the world of work and certainly in the world of finance, it's just more knots and, you know, you know, maybe some bigger decisions, but it takes the fear out of it. Definitely. And it builds the confidence.
Yeah. And
so
the good thing about that qualification as well, you know, it's transferable across the world. It's not just a qualification for the UK market. It's, you know, the topics that are covered are for every teenager. Not even just teenagers, maybe people who are looking to get into work for the first time and just don't know where to start. So it does help build that confidence as well. So I would really love to see a lot more done out here with our level 1 qualification. You know yourself, you know, you're 16, 17 years old, you're not quite sure where you want to go sometimes. So I think that qualification, which can be completed in as little as 6 weeks, so 6 to 12 weeks, it just helps you kind of think about what the next step should be for you as well. And
it formalizes business. You know, I want to do business studies at university, and really when you're 16, 17, you don't know what that means. Whereas this actually gives you that insight into it, so you know whether you want to spend another 3 or 4 years studying an element of this, or whether you think, oh no, this is just not for me at all. So it's quite a smart qualification for you know, that age group to embark and embrace on, to give them direction one way or the other.
Definitely.
So yeah, I love that qualification. We do a lot of work with that qualification in the UK. I think actually as well, the point of, you know, the qualifications are internationally recognised is quite important, because, you know, you will go to any country with an AAT qualification and it will hold value and hold credibility. And there are a lot of jobs on the international market that will ask for AAT qualified. So I think that's something that is maybe missed here as well, you know, as a qualification.
But again, that's something that we're trying to work on as well. So we have spent quite a bit of time with the likes of the NQA to see where our qualifications sit on the QF Emirates framework. We are aligned to the BQA, the Bahrain Qualifications Authority framework, and working with Oman there as well. So these government entities can see the value of our qualification and where they sit on the local frameworks. Yes, we are Ofqual regulated and we're on the UK framework, but we have to think locally and where our qualifications sit on the framework. And then obviously working with the likes of Ministry of Higher Education as well to see where our qualifications can be equalised against qualifications or national qualifications here and in other parts of the region. We'd already do things like that in the likes of Botswana, and it works out very, very well, you know, because they know exactly where our qualification is placed on their framework, and if somebody has our qualification, where they should be when they're going out to the job market. And again, that's something that we want to see here.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So what's been happening with Kaplan, Fiona? Please tell me about it.
Been a bit busy. Yeah, we've like everybody last year, it was quite the challenge, but also I think we definitely decided pretty early on to take this as an opportunity. So obviously we had a new management team in relation to Kaplan UK coming over and taking the business with a firmer grasp than maybe we had done before, and with that then we brought in new solutions. So historically this business was really just a CFA, B2C training business, and now we've got 4 verticals of qualifications and training, much more presence in the marketplace, particularly in Abu Dhabi and in Saudi, and yeah, I think 2021 should be hopefully a good year for us, but it's too early to be 100% confident, but the direction of travel is looking pretty good. Whilst accountancy will always be our core, accountancy and banking, so CFA, SECA, they're our core in the UK, they're our core in the US, there will always be the core here. But the new economy skills that we're bringing into the region, so the leadership and management, the work readiness programs, and particularly our data science boot camps that we are bringing from the US. So they've proved to be very popular in the region, and I think that's going to end up being one of our training verticals that's going to take us by surprise in relation to its growth.
That's great. It sounds exciting.
It really is.
Looking forward to seeing what the next year holds for you guys.
You think at this age and stage, that you've learned all you need to learn, but no, every day artificial intelligence and cloud and all the buzzwords, blockchain. I'm learning all of that.
I'll be learning it from you as well.
So it's great though. It's great, and it's brilliant for the team because the opportunities that we're creating with the team are absolutely fantastic. Yeah. We'll have grown our business probably 25% in headcount, or probably 30% actually in headcount by the end of Q2, which is far exceeds my expectations.
Especially after the last year. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's really good. I'm really happy.
Brilliant.
So obviously Kaplan, great champions of AAT. We do a number of different delivery options in the UK that we've now taken all of those out into the Middle East. So our on-demand solution, which is award-winning, and our face-to-face, which we offer both to clients and then to individuals. And then obviously we're the publishers for the AAT content. So I think Kaplan and AAT go a long way back. And we are very intertwined and interrelated in relation to our success. So definitely from a Kaplan perspective, we would really want AAT to be really successful in the region, because we see the value of it in the other regions that we operated in. So I think in that regard, it's destined. It's destined to be popular.
Definitely, and I think that's one of our benefits as well, the fact that we have such a prestigious organisation like yourselves out here now doing what you're doing, knocking on the doors that we maybe haven't been able to get answers to over the last while. You're a huge brand globally, and that's a big plus point for us, and that's why we want you to be leading the charge with AAT, because you personally and what you know about AAT and your passion for AAT, that will translate, and it will help people understand why we both think that AAT has a place in the market.
Definitely. I mean, I'm not a particularly good salesperson, so I definitely can't sell something I don't believe in, and AAT, absolutely, I fully embrace it, and really feel that the value of it in the region is going to be fantastic.
That's good.
Still to go.
So one of my other big passions is women in the workplace, and particularly women that have really great talent and they've maybe taken a career break and then are not really sure what they want to come back to. And as an accountant, I just think you cannot get a better qualification. So where does AAT fit into that in relation to career changers, but also in relation to men versus women, the demographic of your population?
Sure. Obviously, it would we'd be looking at the numbers in the UK to be able to answer that question.
Yes, of course, yes.
So, you know, I would say, so in the last 2 years, probably more than 50% of those who complete an AAT qualification out with apprenticeships have been career changers. Like our career changer demographic is one of the highest, definitely.
Yeah.
Not really because people are thinking that they want to go into accountancy right off. They think, okay, I want to do accountancy either to start my own business or to be able to progress into a different career that they maybe haven't looked at before. And definitely we've seen a shift in the demographic of the women as well. And not young women, it's people my age, you know, 35, 40 and above, those who have maybe had a family and want to get back into the world of work, who want to set up their own business. Accountancy, AAT qualifications, they're perfectly placed for people like that, you know, and we see a shift of that proportion on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, and I think this qualification particularly is how we would class in Ireland. Obviously we're two Celtic women, is easily carried.
Yes.
So once you have it, nobody can take it away from you.
Completely.
And it will stand you in great stead in relation to your options and the opportunities that it creates. So definitely I would be very familiar with its benefit for career changers.
Yeah. The good thing about our qualification as well is that we set no prerequisites for people to start our qualification. There's a clear pathway. People can start on our level 2 qualification who have never thought about accountancy or finance before, and it gives them that clear pathway to then become a professionally qualified accountant, right from level 2 to level 4. And that's probably why it's quite popular with career changers as well, because it gives them that clear structure to be able to learn a new skill from not knowing anything about it to being a professional accountant.
Professional accountant, yeah. And the time frame for all of that, whilst it sounds onerous, actually isn't that bad because you can be working while you're doing the qualification.
Very much.
You're getting the experience.
We very much, you know, if someone was starting at level 2 and want to work through the pathway, they can probably complete that in as little as 18 months to 2 years. Yeah. Again, if they have the dedication and the time, you know, they put their best foot forward and they become a qualified accountant.
And whilst it does require that dedication and that commitment, you want it to, because the value of the qualification is so significant.
Definitely.
It isn't something, it's not easy, you know, it's definitely not an easy qualification, but it is very doable and it is very manageable if you put the hard work in.
Yeah, but then we also have, you know, the benefits of people like you know, excellent tutors, people who really spend time and effort with their students to get them through the qualification. And it's one thing that Kaplan have done for us across the world, not just in the UK. They look at the people that are studying the qualification and they look at them individually. Even though you've got thousands of students, you know, you look at what they are doing, why they're doing what they're doing, and you help them every step of the way. And that's why we love working with somebody like you, because you want to make sure that these students are successful, that they pass their assessments, that they get the qualification in the time frame that they've given to themselves. So we need Kaplan to continue with the success.
Well, it's our pleasure to continue with the success, and it's an easy relationship to have because of the value. But you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, Kaplan is an education company from top to toe. That's all we talk about is education, and it's a privilege to be in a company that cares so much, because they really do. And it's lovely to meet students or even clients who's like, oh, I know Kaplan, or I studied with Kaplan, or I had the Kaplan books, and that's, you know, it really does make you feel quite humbled to be in an operation like Kaplan. So I feel very lucky.
Oh.